The other thing about the more positive article about, buying a home first is he points out, you know, if you have the money, is look at buying a distressed home. And if you're handy, fix it up and then maybe convert it to a rental. So then you're building additional financial assets over time, so that that becomes part of your diversified portfolio. That of course eventually will be stocks, because that's really what he promotes. But why not have the real estate component of your overall investment portfolio? But I think really the biggest thing that where he's right about the 30-year mortgage is the idea of a one-way bet, the one-sided bet. Because if you look at various borrowing these days, interest rates for various types of borrowing, a 30-year mortgage is still an incredibly good deal. I mean, you can borrow money for 30 years in the mid sixes. Compare that to almost any other kind of borrowing. I mean, how can you argue that that's a ripoff or a bad deal? It really isn't. And what is so important about folks need to understand about the 30-year mortgage is that what does that one-way bet mean? Well, if you're going to buy a home and you've got the down payment money, the 30-year mortgage locks you in on a specific, identifiable, predicted rate of cost, interest cost, for a very, very long period of time. It's not going to get worse. Again, compare it to rent. If you're renting a home, over time your rent's going to go up. It's going to go up maybe again once a year, maybe every couple of years. Once you get that 30-year loan in place, that rate is going to stay there. It's not going to change. And yet, why is it a one-way bet? Because if rates fall, as he would argue, is when rates fall, then you can pay it off. Or what most people can't just pay it off. They don't have the extra money laying around. So what's the other common way to take advantage of that one-way bet? You refinance the loan and to that lower rate. And then you kind of restart the clock. You got another 30 years at that lower rate. You've protected your upside a second time. So that's why a 30-year mortgage, he calls the greatest loan product there is. It's all about that one-way bet structure. It's basically a can't lose situation.